Queenslander Simon Dorante-Day has, for many years, been on a mission to prove that he is the eldest son of now King Charles and Camilla. He says that he was conceived when Camilla was 18 and Charles 17, and then adopted to a friend of the Queen's staff. You can watch his full backstory by clicking this link. And there's a fresh twist in his royal paternity case in the wake of the Queen's death. The 56-year-old says he's been inundated with requests from media and royal watchers around the world in the days following the Queen's passing. Many are keen to know his next steps in the controversial case. Speaking exclusively to 7news.com.au, Dorante-Day revealed his thoughts on the Queen's death.
Well, obviously, I'm sad. I mean, it's the morning, firstly, of an opportunity of solving this thing politely, and maybe we should say the right way. Disappointment at the whole process, and there's also anger. I mean, there's obviously going to be anger there as well. It's mixed emotions at the moment, but like everybody, we're all going through a mourning process. I mean, as an English person myself, I grew up with the Queen. The Queen's always been there, so to lose her is quite significant.
The news of the Queen's death was broken to Simon by his youngest daughter.
I found out two ways. My wife and I were asleep in bed when our daughter Miriam came in and let us know, and she said, "Hey, Dad, the Queen's passed away," and she was quite sad because, being one of the younger ones, she sees her as possibly her great-grandmother. So she's lost that opportunity too. My son was out working because he works night shifts, and he texted me about 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get that until after I got up, but he texted me and let me know. And he's the opposite way. He, you know, what have they done for us? What have they done to come to help you, Dad? They can't even come clean or speak the truth. It's different attitudes from the children depending on their experience of it.
Simon has released lots of photos of he and his family that he says is proof he is a secret royal, and in particular those who bear resemblance to Queen Elizabeth.
It's hard at the moment because every time I look at one of them I see her. So, I mean, that kind of brings the grief on. I mean, a lot of my friends are also mourning that the Queen's passed, you know, and they're quite sad. And to see them brings it back. It's right in your face. It's not something you can ignore. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the royal family. It's the Shan family. On the page, we've gone back to many lines of the royal family, and you can see facial features, and everyone can see that for themselves. And sure, that's enough to ask the question. And this is the reason why I went to court back in 2018 was, what would I need to do that? I've been told what I need to do that. I'm in the middle of putting it all together. It's not simple. It's even less simple when you're doing it yourself. I know what happened to me. It's my life. It's me explaining myself. I know they happened. There's not a question in my mind. The question is why. And as I've said, the state of the UK owes me an answer. As an adopted child, I'm a ward of the state just like every other adopted child, and I have a right to know these answers. So yeah, there's disappointment that I never got to meet her. There's disappointment that I never heard her side of the story, but there's also disappointment at the way the system's dealt with the whole thing. And I will persist to get answers for those. It's not a difficult question. I've been to court. I've shown that I do have the evidence that I need to ask this question. The anger is at not getting that dealt with, not getting just the simplest answer is frustrating. To me, there's a mountain in front of me. Whether it's male or female, whether it's the Queen or whether it's Charles, I've still got that mountain to climb to get to the truth. And that's what it is about, is the truth.
So is Simon intimidated that the man he's seeking answers from is now king?
Not really, no. Like I said, the mountain doesn't change. It's still a mountain. I'm going to climb it. So I've got to climb it to get over it. That's the way it is.
And honestly, we appreciate being given the opportunity to let him know that we haven't given up and he'll still see us. We have not given up, and we will address him via law, LAW, and law, LORE. And why I say law, L-O-R-E, is because I'm an Indigenous Australian from both Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tribal groups here in Australia.
If Simon's claims are true, he would be the rightful heir. He says that he was disappointed when he saw King Charles make William the Prince of Wales.
It's like being overlooked. I can understand how Harry feels. It's not the not getting it. It's the being overlooked, being ignored, not being made to think any worth. You know, I mean, that's the bit that kind of gets to you. But I wasn't necessarily looking for that. As everybody knows, I want the truth. And if you look at it from this perspective, would you want to be governed by people that are capable of that, are capable of such lies, such deception and manipulation? It's been a journey for me. When I was a young kid, it was all red, white and blue, rule Britannia, Britannia rules always, the monarchy can never do anything wrong. Then as I got older and I realised the reality of the world, and I realised the poverty, the joblessness, the job searching, the economy. You know, you look at a whole picture. I left the UK despising the royal family for what they stand for and what they do to the people of England alone, let alone the rest of the world. So then I had to go out. I saw what the empire had done to the world when I was in the Navy, and I went from country to country to country, and I've seen the devastation. I've seen the anger. I know the aggression people hold to what's not been done, what's not been rectified. So I've experienced that firsthand, and people overlook a lot of this. It is a major factor in it. And then discovering who my parents were, and the realisation that it was them. Then you look at it different again. So I had to look at the monarchy and see, well, what's the worth of this thing? You know, do we really want to be governed by, when we're really being governed by the politicians? I mean, the UK government I'm a ward of the state. They've got answers in this just as much as Charles, and I'm yet to get any reaction in that regard. They hide behind, they talk about Charles hiding behind his mother's skirt. I think the UK government hide equally as well behind the royal family, and they become a manipulation object in this game.
Simon was very emphatic when asked if he planned to watch the Queen's funeral.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I've not watched any.
We've got our own process of dealing with sorry business, is what we refer to that from the Indigenous community. Yeah, so we've got our own little plan on how we will address that and how we will address our emotions in relation to the old lady, which we called Akka Lilybed for many, many years. Akka is a terminology we use in the Torres Straits that means grandma.
And it's used affectionately, so yeah.
So how will Simon remember the Queen?
I feel sorry for her, because for years she's had to do as she's told. This is what I said at the end of my post. You know, I can imagine how that feels. No, you can't pick up that chicken
like
with your fingers and be told what to do by the government. I won't be told what to do, not unless if it's justified and it's right, fine. But if it's not, I won't be told by anything. I think most people that follow my story know that by now. I feel sorry for her that she had to live all those years without really expressing her true self. I don't think we've really got to see the true Queen. I'd say she had a lot of things that she wanted to do that she never got done and was never allowed to do.
Despite the Queen's passing, Simon says he will not be deterred from his mission to legally prove his claims.
Okay, just as a quick recap of where I'm at, business as usual. I'll be going back to the court at some point. There's several options I'm reviewing there. Obviously they're not simple moves, so they need a bit of discussion with some legal experts outside of myself and my wife. And we will be heading back to court to push for the DNA and to push for the answers. There's no point in me going in with Ancestry.com. I'll get laughed out the court by the judges. The truth needs to be told. He's done an action. Hey, every action that I do, don't I get a held account to it? And I mean, the world's noticed that. The world's watched that. Okay, you want to hold me to account, then he needs to be honest and he needs to come forward. I think if he wants the respect of the Commonwealth, that's one thing he needs to do, is clear this up. And so the UK government, they've got a part in that, and they know what that role that is. I mean, they've got the same paperwork that I have, and they know there's gaps. So don't try and hide behind that barricade any longer. You know, I can... It's hard. I'm sure people couldn't understand. The mountain's there. I'm off to climb it again.